Man, I gotta tell you, being a Chargers fan right now is like riding the world's most frustrating roller coaster. One minute you're up, the next you're facing down in the dirt wondering what the hell just happened. And that's exactly where we are after getting absolutely demolished by the Colts at home. 38 points, over 400 yards given up at home. Like, come on, how does that even happen? But here's the thing that really got my attention. After that loss, Derwin James stepped up to the mic and didn't sugarcoat anything. He straight up said, "We played like trash." And you know what? I respect that. I really do. Because when a captain, a leader on this team, comes out and calls it exactly what it is, that means something. It's not just frustrating talking, it's a wake-up call. He said the defense was completely checked out, making basic mistakes like they forgot everything they practiced all week. That's 3 losses in 4 games now. And the defense that looked unstoppable early in the season has just vanished into thin air. Derwin even said he's been repeating himself for 4 weeks straight, and you can feel the weight of that. He wants action, not just word. And honestly, that's the kind of leadership this team desperately needs right now. The problem is, we don't have time to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves. We've got a short week with the Vikings coming up, and then it's the Titans, Steelers, Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. There's no easy game there, except for Raiders and Titans. But the way they played against the Dolphins and the Giants, don't consider these games easy anymore. So, if this team doesn't figure it out fast, we're looking at a season that could completely spiral out of control. But I'm not ready to give up yet, because there's some stuff happening behind the scenes that could change everything. Let me talk about the trade rumors that have been heating up, because this could legitimately transform our offense. Breece Hall, the Jets running back. His name keeps popping up in conversations around the league, and apparently the Chargers are right in the mix. Look, New York is 0-7. They're going nowhere this season, and they're probably going to start tearing down the roster before Hall's contract runs out. And guess who desperately needs help in the backfield? Yeah, that's us. We lost Amarion Hampton to injury, Najee Harris is out, and we're relying on Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal to carry the load. They're solid guys, don't get me wrong, but we're missing that explosive element that makes defenses really respect the run game. Hall is exactly what we need. Power, speed, reliable hands out of the backfield. Even playing behind that terrible Jets offensive line, he's averaging 4.5 yards per carry and almost 65 yards a game. Plus, he can catch. We're talking about a guy who's had 197 receptions over the last 3 seasons. Just imagine what he could do in our system, with Justin Herbert slinging the ball around and defenses having to respect the passing game. When the run game is working, Herbert becomes a completely different animal. He's unpredictable. He can pick you apart in so many different ways. And if we're serious about competing for anything meaningful this season, we need that offensive balance. Now, we're not the only team looking at Hall. The Texans need versatility. The Bengals can barely run the ball at all, and even the Chiefs know their ground game is lacking. But here's the beautiful part. If we get Hall, we don't just help ourselves, we keep a rival from getting stronger. That's a win-win right there. The price tag is probably a mid-round pick, maybe a 3rd or 4th rounder. That's not crazy for a guy who's still got plenty left in the tank and tons of talent. The deadline is November 4th, so the next few weeks are critical. And with the pressure mounting on our front office to deliver results, this could be the move that shows the fan base we haven't quit on this season. But wait, there's more. Another name that's been linked to us is David Njoku, the tight end from Cleveland. And man, this is the kind of upgrade that could genuinely change our offense. Right now, we've got good options on the outside with Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston, but we're missing that reliable security blanket over the middle. The tight ends we have just aren't cutting it. Will Dissly's production has dropped off, and while our rookie has shown flashes, he's still inconsistent. Herbert needs someone who can read coverage and become that bailout option when things break down. And Njoku could be that guy. He's physical, he can block when needed, and he attacks open space with power and speed. Even in Cleveland's struggling offense, he's been productive. Plus, his contract is in its final year, which means the trade cost would be relatively low for what he brings to the table. It's a low-risk, high-reward type of deal. Imagine him coming in and splitting the field with McConkey, pulling double coverage and opening up space for everyone else. The run game gets room to breathe, play action starts working again, and Herbert suddenly has an elite escape valve when the pocket collapses.
Speaking of things that aren't working, I gotta talk about something that's been keeping me up at night. Our most expensive investment from the offseason is flat out struggling. Mekhi Becton, 2-year contract worth up to $20 million. He was supposed to be the savior of our offensive line, the piece that pulls everything together. Instead, he's been legitimately bad. And I don't say that lightly. Out of 113 guards who've played enough snaps to get graded, Becton has an overall grade of 41.4. He's ranked 105th in run blocking and 108th in pass blocking, which is supposed to be his strength. Just last week against the Colts, he allowed 7 pressures. 7! That's unacceptable for a guy we're paying that kind of money. The frustrating part is that we needed him to step up because our line is completely decimated. We lost Rashawn Slater before the season even started with a torn patella tendon. Joe Alt has already missed 3 out of 7 games. We're hanging on by a thread up front, and Becton was supposed to be the anchor holding everything together. Instead, he's sinking with the ship. Now, I get that playing on our line isn't the same as playing on the Eagles line where he looked solid last year. Different system, different protections. But dude, we paid him to be the difference maker, not to need help himself. The silver lining, if you can call it that, is his contract has an opt-out clause after this season. If we cut him, it only costs $2.5 million in dead cap. So we'll have a decision to make. Do we give him more time to adjust and hope he figures it out? Or do we move on and find another solution next offseason? But you know what? Not everything is doom and gloom. Let me tell you about something that actually made me really excited. Oronde Gadsden, our rookie tight end. What he did last Sunday against the Colts is now Chargers history. 7 catches for 164 yards and a touchdown. This isn't just a nice rookie performance. This is the most yards by a rookie tight end in 40 years. 40 years! The last time a rookie tight end had more yards in a single game was back in 1985. It's the 3rd highest yardage total for any tight end in franchise history and the most since Antonio Gates did it back in 2009. Antonio freaking Gates! Let that sink in for a second.
This kid was inactive for the first 2 weeks of the season. We didn't even dress him. Then in week 3 against Denver, he flashed with 5 catches for 46 yards, and we all thought, okay, this is interesting. But then his targets dropped again, and it seemed like he might be one of those rookies who shows up and disappears. But something clicked in the last couple weeks. You can see it on the field. Herbert trusts him now. 3rd down, Herbert's looking for Gadsden. Red zone, he's looking for Gadsden. Need yards over the middle? Gadsden. And we desperately needed this because having just one reliable target isn't enough in this league. McConkey is our guy, no doubt about it. He had an incredible rookie season last year with over 1,000 yards. But Herbert needs options, and now he's got them. What makes Gadsden special is he's not just a tight end who catches balls over the middle. He can stretch the field vertically. He creates matchup nightmares for defenses. Linebackers can't cover him with speed. Safeties can't match his physicality. That's exactly what this offense needs. At 22 years old, this kid is a foundational piece of our future. Along with Herbert, along with McConkey, along with Joe out on the line, we're building the core of something that can dominate for years. Sunday wasn't just a good game. It was the moment he announced himself to the league. I'm already sold on this kid. So here's where we are. The season is teetering on the edge. We've got serious problems on the offensive line that need fixing. We've got defensive issues that Derwin James is trying to wake everybody up about. But we've also got potential solutions brewing. Trade possibilities that could transform the offense. A rookie tight end who just made history and looks like a real deal. This team has the talent to turn things around. The question is whether they have the heart and the urgency to actually do it.